Well, hello and welcome again to Clean Nuts and to part 4 of the VN900 bobber build. And today we're going to tackle the one thing that most people are frightened of, and that's the wiring. So what I'm going to do with this one is take it slowly, step by step, and explain exactly what I'm doing, so that hopefully when you do yours, you're not apprehensive and you know what you're doing. Now the first stage is to identify what all the wires are for. And let's see if we can find anything that's going to give us a clue. Now there's a black and yellow wire to the headlamp plug, a black and yellow wire to the side light plug, a black and yellow wire to each of the indicators, and even one to these two power leads here. Those black and yellow wires are the earth wires. And this is the headlight plug, and we don't need to mess with it. We just take it off the headlight when we want to remove it, and when we reinstall it we plug it back in. And the same with this one. This is a side light, but there is some knowledge we can gain from this. And this side light is red. So let's remember red is side light. Now this wire, which has a grey plug, goes to the right hand indicator on the light on the indicator bar. And this plug, which is black, goes to the left hand indicator. Now, we can gain some more knowledge from these. Grey plug, grey wire. Black plug, green wire. So that means that when we get to the back, the right indicator will be grey, and the left indicator will be green, and the side lights will be red, and then there'll be a third colour, or fourth colour I should say, for the brake light. So let's have a look at what's at the back. Now here's the fender that we took off. What I'm going to do is cut that wire. That gives us the plug. Now what we'll do is unravel it. So we've cut the wiring harness off. We've got this plug. And we can use this to wire up to our new lights and then plug it in. But we want to remember which wire's which. So we've got the same colours as at the front. We've got a black and yellow, which is earth. We've got a grey wire, which is the right hand indicator. A green wire, which is the left hand indicator. A red wire, if you remember, was the side light, so that's the tail light. That only leaves one left, and we're looking for a brake light, so it has to be the blue with red. So that's how we can identify. So you can re-watch this part of the video and make sure that you're using the right wires and connecting them up to the right fittings. So firstly, let's get the bike up to a working height. Now the seat brackets bolt on where the rear foot pegs were bolted on. So out with the bolts, in with the new. And I'm adding on this side the tail light bracket as well. You can see there in my right hand. Now they have lock bolts on the back. So quickly install those and nip them up nice and tight. Same procedure on the right side. Off with the bolts and on with the bracket. You can see there's a slot and a hole where the indicators mount. Now if you remember, the grey plug is the right hand side and the black plug is the left hand side. But both of these have got green and black wires. But on the bike, the grey female part of the plug has a grey wire and the black female part of the plug has a green wire. So they throw these things in just to confuse you. But we've got to make up an indicator that goes in here with the same length of cable this has got. So firstly we cut the cables off. Then we get busy removing the indicators. Now, there's an added level of complication here. Normally you have one button here and one filament in the bulb, but these are running lights and indicators, so they have two filaments, and we can use both of them to be an indicator. So here we've got three wires. We've got a ground, an earth wire, and we've got one filament, two filaments, but we want both the filaments to light up at the same time, so we're going to connect these two together and then to the positive in the lead. So when the indicator on comes on, both lights come on. So I use the existing cable to measure the length of the new cable. So I prepare the ends of the wires. Remember, we're going to join the two blue and purple wires together. Now we're going to put these two wires together so both filaments light up when we put power on it. Now, I like to crimp and solder, and obviously don't forget to put the heat shrink on first. So there we are, feeding the solder down each end of the little crimping bullets that I've used. Sliding the heat shrink tubing over. Sliding the bigger section of heat shrink tubing over the joints and just around the bottom of the plug. Makes it nice. Mounting the two indicator lights on the indicator bar. Now making up a little earth loom for use at the back. We've got one earth cable coming out of the plug, and we need one for each of the indicators, which is 2, one to the brake light, which is 3, and one to the plug, which is 4. On with the brake light and number plate holder. And there's an earth wire that goes on. So just testing which is which. So black is tail light, green is brake light. Now this part of the bike's out in the weather, so plenty of heat shrink around it. Sliding the wires through, pulling it down. And applying some heat. Now I want to feed these wires down a mesh pipe. So I'm making a heat shrink cap on the end so that it goes down the tube freely. So I'm going to feed those wires in and then put a piece of heat shrink over to cover that hairy end that you can see there. Now I'm going to route it round. I want to keep clear of the drive belt and the action of the swing arm. Just mount it with some tie wraps. More heat shrink both ends on the lead coming in and the lead going down to the tail lights. So connecting the earth wire to the tail light and brake light, and then I'll be fixing the red wire, which is the tail light, to the black lead, and the blue and red wire to the green wire, which is the brake light. Heat shrink on first, nip them up, solder them in, heat shrink them over. So just work your way through one by one, just as I'm doing there. So red to black, which is the tail light, and the blue and red to the green, which is the brake light, and heat shrinking as I go. Now on to threading the wires from the indicators through the mounts and mounting them on with the bolt. Same both sides. You've got to remember that the grey wire is the right hand indicator and the green wire is the left hand indicator. Slightly different method of connecting it here. just wound them together and soldered them, and then putting a little heat shrink glove over it. So I want the wires to be neat and tidy and getting too near the outside of the bike if we use a normal technique. So on with a little glove. Just nip the end close. So onto the left hand side. So this time it will be the green wire to the 2 filament wires and one of those earth leads that I made up earlier to the earth. So there you go, nip them together with the bullets, solder each end, heat shrink them. Now just tidying up, just temporarily putting some tape round, trying to get the right shape for the wiring to be nice and neat and tidy. I'm a real stickler for this. I don't like big hornet's nests of bowls of spaghetti or wiring. So put some cable ties around as well and insulating tape to neaten it all up. I had an idea I wanted it to be flush with the top of the battery, giving as much room as I can for the... So I put that spanner in and just heated up and made some holes in the battery case, not in the battery itself, and put some tie wraps around, fished them out. And nice and neat and tidy. Temporarily fitting the indicator bar, plugging them in, grey to the left, black to the right, and lo and behold, they flash nicely. That was the left. So we've got tail light, brake light, left indicator, right indicator. Now they're red and not orange. We have to have orange over here. This is because they have running light and indicator bulbs which are red, so that you get brake light and a red turn signal. So just swapping the bulbs out to amber bulbs so we get the right colour for our regulations. So just installing the amber bulbs. Another test. Tail light, brake light, left hand orange indicator, amber, and amber on the right as well. So that's the wiring of the lights pretty much done. Sweep up, keep the workshop tidy. Well, there you go. Lights are working, indicators are working, all the wiring's neat and tidy, soldered joints for reliability. So like and subscribe and wait for the next episode on the Bobber Build.